Federal Executive Council commends Edo State residents over peaceful conduct during governorship election. Minister of Foreign Affairs Yusuf Tugur advocates a deadline extension in implementation of SDG's 2030 agenda. And Hydroelectric Power Producing Areas Development Commission takes dams revitalization drive to Kogi State. Hello and welcome to the news desk at 3 on Nta News24. We're live in Abuja. I am Dennis Adegunloye. The Federal Executive Council has commended the people of Edo State over the just concluded governorship election, adjudged as free and fair. This was at the commencement of the meeting of the council, currently in progress at the State House under the chairmanship of President Bola Tinubu. Through the Secretary to the Government of the Federation, George Akume, the council also lauded the president for his leadership, resulting in victory for the All Progressives Congress.
A huge victory which had eluded the APC for over 8 years. The elections have been adjudged to be free and fair. And that is what Mr. President has always stood for. We want to thank you, Mr. President, for being committed to the electoral process and the ethos of democracy.
The council also paid last respects to former member of the council, late Salome Jakanda, Minister of the Women Affairs and Youth Development under the administration of former President Olusegun Obasanjo. She hailed from Taraba State and died on August 27th, 2024. State House correspondent Musmal Damahab reports that this is the first meeting of the council in about 2 months, with the last being held in July. Nigeria is leveraging technology in deepening elections with the bimodal voter accreditation system's optimal performance in the Edo governorship election. Guests on Good Morning Nigeria, however, noted that the elections, though peacefully conducted, were not devoid of glitches. Lydia Sampson reports.
The guests are in agreement on the orderly conduct despite visible late commencement in some polling units. They observed challenges with logistics, particularly transportation, and also identified alleged interference by politicians towards the end of voting period as a downside of the process.
They're confident in democracy, confident in the process, confident in the outcome, and confident in democratic dividend.
But by and large, I'm really happy. I think that this has also opened a window for conversation around electoral reform and the kind of reform we want to see as we go into 2027 in the future.
They express optimism that with the eliminations of multiple thumb printing due to electronic accreditation and notifications to voters through text messages of eligibility to vote and their respective polling units, INEC is making elections less cumbersome.
We say, oh, in 2007, we have 40% voter turnout. In 2003, we have 50% voter. What is the integrity quotient of those figures?
I mean, if you look at our banking system, look at every other thing. Technology is inherent in all of this. Why is it that when it comes to election, we are partially adopting one thing or another? I think we should embrace it fully.
We are happy of the progress made thus far, for me, security-wise, because no record of deaths, no stealing of ballot papers, and what have you. So we still having pockets of issues there, but they are very insignificant to condemn or not to applaud the security agencies.
Security operatives, civil society, and the media were applauded for their professional conduct. Unfortunately, vote trading reports remains a major challenge that Gesi is still undermining elections. In Abuja, Lydia Samson, Nta News.
Minister of Foreign Affairs Yusuf Tuga has called for a deadline extension in implementing the SDGs 2030 agenda as Africa falls short with the remaining 84% of the SDG targets yet to be achieved. Tuga was speaking at the Summit of the Future, which marks the opening of the 79th United Nations General Assembly in New York, United States. He noted that the SDG index estimates that about 16% of the SDG targets are on track to be achieved.
Therefore, ensure that today's adoption of the Pact for the Future is backed by a real willingness to fulfill outstanding commitments. With the remaining 84% of the SDG targets for 2030 yet to be achieved, countries in the global north must do more to support sustainable development in the global south. We're optimistic that these targets can be met if commitments are backed by action. However, in the event we fall short of achieving the SDG targets by 2030, we strongly believe that the deadline should be extended.
The minister called for the support of the international community to assist Africa through sustainable financing to accelerate the implementation of the Sustainable Development Goals. In other areas to ensure accelerated action, the minister pointed out the need to reform the UN Security Council to provide a permanent seat for Africa, reforms of the international finance architecture to promote an inclusive, non-discriminatory and transparent international trading system, as well as to implement comprehensive debt relief measures, among others, to impeding Africa's developments. The Senior Special Assistant to the President on Legal Research and Compliance Matters in the Office of the Vice President, Bashir Maidugu, has restated the federal government's commitment towards taking steps that would forestall any future collapse of dams and their attendant consequences. He was speaking at an emergency flood disaster victim support program in Abuja. The event, which is the fourth in its series, was majorly to transport relief materials canvassed by the Grassroots Mobilizers for Better Nigeria initiative in collaboration with the Fatmobu Dikwa Foundation for the Needy from Abuja to Maiduguri, Borno State.
It's a wake-up call, and it's an inspiration, and it's a gesture that must be commended by everybody for an individual to continually, consistently think of helping his people, his or her people. Ambassador Fatima Mohamed Goni has been doing that for many years, close to 35 years now, and she's not tired. And I will urge each one of us to emulate her gesture. We know what happened in Maiduguri, and the government is doing everything possible to ensure that this thing is not repeated.
Founder of the initiative, Ambassador Fatima Mohamed Goni, re-emphasized the need to keep up support to the less privileged in society. Speaking through the Director of Contact and Mobilization of the initiative, Rizkatu Abdulaziz, the victims of the Borno State flood disaster must be supported in addition to ongoing efforts by both Borno State and the federal governments, as well as good-spirited individuals.
It's part of what we've been doing. Helping the underserved, taking care of the out-of-school children, taking care of the less privileged in the society.
The benefit of this intervention to our NGO is that we are bridging the gap through direct intervention as at when needed.
In another development, as more houses are submerged by an erosion in Aba, the residents are keeping vigil as palpable fear grips them on whose house is next. Kelechi Okata has an update.
78-year-old Pa Innocent Odnakachi is afraid that the only house he built during his years in service is about to be submerged. by the ravaging erosion. His family has mobilized him with over 4 million naira to reinforce the erosion and protect his home from the erosion.
I've been calling, pleading that they should come and do something about it. Up till now, nothing is done. Even last month, the governor came here by himself and saw everything by himself, and they promised that in weeks to come that he will start work here. But up till now, we're still expecting.
Everybody that lives around this place is afraid of this area again. Nobody comes here again.
Houses, shops, and even a worship center have so far been washed away by the erosion, which has equally cut off many from accessing their houses. Pa Innocent narrated how many unsuspecting Nigerians have fallen into the deep, frequently calling on the Ecological Fund, Abia State government, to save them. In Aba, Kelechi Okata, Nta News.
And as water levels continue to rise with the heavy rains and high tides, the need for water travelers and operators to adhere to standard safety guidelines has been intensified. Area Manager, National Inland Waterways Authority in Agoa Area Office, Michael Osere, urged operators to adhere to safety guidelines or face sanctions. Ibinimi Zitimiola reports.
Riverine transportation is a common means of movement around coastal communities in Bayelsa State. With the intense rain and high tides, coupled with the latest alert on the opening of the Lado Dam, the call for extreme caution for safety on the waterways is imminent. Hence, the launch of the 16 cardinal guidelines on safety while on the waterways is vital. These include sailing during the approved period of 6 a.m. to 6 p.m., compulsory use of safety vests, registration and licensing of boats, avoiding overloading and overspeeding, and the intake of alcohol while sailing, among others.
Accidents on our waterways can be reduced to the barest minimum if users comply strictly with safety regulations and guidelines.
Bayelsa State Commissioner for Marine and Blue Economy represented security agencies, including other stakeholders, in their goodwill messages, commended stakeholders in the marine subsector for their efforts to create awareness and promised to collaborate with the National Inland Waterways Authority to sanitize the waterways.
Deciding on forming a task force that will be formidable so that we will work as a team. There will be no casualty.
We, the Nigerian Navy, stand to collaborate and support all efforts that ensure the safety and security of our waterways.
As we are saying this, we are still going to all the grassroots communities. This program will not end there.
Maritime stakeholders, on their part, called for donation of safety vests, including the provision of the petrol float station at a regulated price, to ease the high cost of fueling and cost of transportation.
The Nimasa and the Niwa, if they can be able to provide more life jacket to assist.
At the gathering, Niwa Area Manager announced the donation of 100 life vests from the authority. In Yanagua, Ebinimi Zitimiola, NTA News.
In the meantime, water issues in Ida local government area of Kogi State are set to be resolved as the Hydroelectric Power Producing Areas Development Commission, HYPODEC, has visited the waterworks to begin its revitalization. Jonathan Omajali reports.
The Ida Waterworks facility now lies in a state of neglect, threatened by an encroaching gully that could eventually consume it if not controlled. The nearby river, once essential, now flows with little purpose in the absence of the facility. It has been 12 years since the tanks and pipes here last supplied water to the people of Ida, prompting them to issue an urgent call for assistance to the Hydroelectric Power Producing Areas Development Commission, HYPODEC. Responding to the plea, a team from HYPODEC, led by the Managing Director, Abubakar Sadiq Yewa, along with representatives from the State Ministry of Water Resources and Environment, visited the site. What they found was disheartening. Many of the facilities had either been stolen, were in a state of disrepair, or in need of a complete overhaul. The Managing Director acknowledged the extensive work required, but assured that the situation was not beyond saving.
I have seen a facility that has the capacity to improve on the life of the people, if only given the attention it requires. I'm therefore delighted with the commitment of the state government by instructing the State Ministry of Water Resources to collaborate with Hyperdeck and see what we can do to ameliorate the situation.
With their intervention and in collaboration with the state government, we will synergize and see to it they are being brought to the standard expected for the general use of the people.
The managing director also urged residents to take flood warnings seriously.
As those that are staying by the river base should please move to upland.
Earlier, the team visited the palace of the Ata Igala. Jonathan Omajali, NTA News.
This is the news desk at 3 on Nta News 24. We'll take a short break. More reports in a moment. Stay with us. Welcome back. The Akwa Ibom state government is enrolling all junior civil servants from levels 1 to 6 in its employment into the State Health Insurance Agency without charge for the first 1 year. The gesture is part of measures to improve upon the health needs of the Akwa Ibom people. Calvin Samuel reports.
Understanding the critical role the health sector plays in poverty eradication and sustainable development, the Akwa Ibom state government is exploring ways to ensure accessible and affordable quality healthcare services for the people of the state, especially the poor and vulnerable. The Akwa Ibom State Health Insurance Agency, the people therefore note, is timely.
What we're witnessing here today is one of the strongest defenses any society can make to prevent people from plunging into health poverty.
With his passion and the commitment as we heard today from even the local government's representative, that dream is achievable.
Governor Mo Enowai, speaking at the launch of the agency, reassures the commitment of his government towards the health of its citizens through the Arise Care Insurance Scheme.
We are here to provide services for our people, and that we must do. And so let's don't take the funds that are being put in place for granted. Let's don't take it for granted at all. We must ensure that we use this fund, we run the agency and make it extremely credible. We must make Akwa Ibom Health Insurance Agency a reference point for insurance agencies in this country.
Having already enrolled 11,000 beneficiaries, the scheme is still open for enrollment of interested individuals, families and groups. In Uyo, Calvin Samuel, NTA News.
The newly established Muhammadu Buhari University of Transportation, Daura, in Katsina State, has commenced its academic activities in line with the federal government's target of producing more skills and practical youths in the country. The matriculation was chaired by the Minister of Transportation, Saidu Ahmed Al-Khali, for the university, which stands to safeguard the country's huge investments in the transportation industry. Husseini Suleiman reports.
And respect the provisions.
These travelers are pursuing cutting-edge courses in civil engineering, mechanical engineering, railway engineering, aviation, logistics, transport management, seaport and dry port management, among others. As pioneers, they will set the tune for future generations, shaping the university's legacy through academic excellence and adherence to its rules and regulations.
You must therefore avoid all forms of social vices such as drug abuse, cultism, examination malpractices, and stealing.
We sincerely thank the administration of this university, particularly the Vice Chancellor, for the excellent take-up of the school or the university.
I'm feeling so excited today because I have been matriculated on Federal University of Transportation, Daura.
We have sworn that all the rules and regulations we are to abide by it.
We consider the rules and regulations of the school, inshallah.
The momentous occasion drew dignitaries, including Minister of Transportation Saidu Alkali and the Emir of Daura Umar Faruk Umar. The ceremony showcased vibrant cultural performance and inspiring talent, igniting a sense of pride and purpose among the students. In Daura, Hussein Suleiman, NTA News.
In other news, the Chief of Defense Staff, General Christopher Musa, has reiterated the unwavering commitment of the armed forces against all adversaries, as the military will ensure the nation's territorial integrity and security of Nigerians. Haruna Mohammed reports that the Chief of Defense Staff was speaking at the regimental dinner of passing out cadets of regular course 71 and direct short service course 28 Army and 32 Air Force at the Nigerian Defense Academy in Kaduna.
The arrival of the special guest of honor signaled the commencement of the regimental dinner flanked by the Commandant, Nigerian Defense Academy, other senior military officers. A toast heralded the important occasion, dinner of regular course 71 and direct short service course 28 Army, as well 32 Air Force, in line with the tradition of the military. It's now time to dine and wine with sumptuous dishes going round in honor of the graduating officer cadets who haven't concluded their military training. Time for the special guest leading the loyal toast as he steps to deliver his address to the graduates. The Chief of Defense Staff, General Christopher Musa, admonished the graduates to the importance of courage, discipline, resilience, and devotion as to the armed forces in actualization of national security.
Words of advice to the personnel cadets. Gentlemen personnel cadets, it is imperative to remind you that the armed forces of Nigeria expect so much from you in terms of regimentation. Hence, I must emphasize on the importance of discipline and integrity in service.
The graduates, to be loyal and decisive, having been equipped with knowledge, skills, and military tactics, especially now that the country is facing various internal security challenges.
You must be prepared to go through harder hurdles after your graduation from this noble institution in order to enable you to lead men effectively and courageously in the theater of operations.
It was a fun-filled night with a special guest of honor, and others who distinguished themselves were presented deserving gifts. Haruna Mohammed, NTA News.
Let's now get the latest in the world of sports.
Enyimba advanced into the group stage of the CAF Confederations Cup after a 3-2 penalty shootout win against Etoile Filante of Burkina Faso. Both teams battled to a 0-0 draw at the Kotsulakpabio International Stadium, Uyo. The first leg in Bamako also ended in a barren draw. Enyimba converted 3 of their sport kicks, while Etoile Filante managed to score 2. Yemi Olarinwaju's side are now the only Nigerian club left on the continent. The People's Elephant will be looking to become the first Nigerian club to win the CAF Confederations Cup.
Goalkeeper Natala CB. Can he save this one? And he misses! He misses! He misses! Enyimba gets through! Enyimba gets through! Straight to the group stages!
Meanwhile, Victor Boniface was the hero for Bayer Leverkusen as a stoppage-time goal earned the Bundesliga champions a dramatic 4-3 win against Wolfsburg on Sunday. Leverkusen have won 3 straight games on the bounce and sit in second position on 9 points, just 3 points behind leaders Bayern Munich. An own goal by Nordi Mukiele gave Wolfsburg the lead in the 5th minute, but Florian Wirtz made it 1-0 on 14 minutes. Jonathan Tah scored to put Leverkusen 2-1 ahead in the 32nd minute, but Sebastian Bonau drew Wolfsburg level on 37 minutes. In 1 minute of first-half stoppage time, Matthias Fansberg gave Wolfsburg a 3-2 lead. 3 minutes into the second half, Piero Hincapie equalized for Leverkusen before Boniface bagged the winner in the 93rd minute.
Grimaldo blocked, back out here to Wirtz for Leverkusen. Viet's in. Palacios. There's Boniface! Yet another Leverkusen late show.
Well, that concludes the news desk at 3 on Nta News 24. Thanks for watching. I am Dennis Adegunloye.